Hi, I'm Mike Gemstone. Thanks for joining us here at Sharptooth Outfitters. We're going to do another video here talking about our basic setup for just getting started in basic freshwater fishing. And this is your opportunity to learn a few things, and hopefully you'll use these skills to get outdoors and hopefully take a kid fishing. So in our last video, we talked a little bit about the basic types of fishing reels and some basic rods. Once you have that, the next thing you'll need is what we generally just call tackle. That's going to be everything that's at the end of your line that's actually going to go out into the water. So first thing is we have fishing line, okay? Now if you get a pre-assembled rod kit, most of them will already have the line on the reel. In a later video, we'll talk about how to replace fishing line, or if you're having any trouble with your fishing line, how to take it off of the reel and put a new line on that reel. So there's a couple different styles of line. There's two primarily that you're gonna see. This here is monofilament. You might not even hardly be able to see the line on the camera there. And this is a nylon material. It's very clear once it goes into the water. And this is your basic fishing line. This is all you need. For reference sake, this is what we call braid. So this is more almost like a heavy thread, just like with your clothes are stitched together. And you really don't need anything this heavy duty, and it's also a little bit more expensive. It's something for the future use you might want to look into, but for now, we don't need that, so we'll set that aside. Now, one thing about the fishing line I did want to point out, you'll see these are both Berkley Trilene. The brand really is not that important, but these numbers here on the bottom, you see this one here is an 8, this one is a 12. That's what we call the pound of the test. So the 12 pound is a little bit stronger than the 8 pound, and the line is a little bit thicker. Now, don't be fooled. That doesn't necessarily mean you can't catch a 20-pound fish on 8-pound test line, because it has some stretch to it, and your rod acts like a spring as well. But for our basic getting started for the sunfish, small bass, small catfish, carp, thing like that, 8 pounds, 12 pounds, you're gonna be right where you need to be as far as your line strength goes. So that should be just fine. So that's our fishing line. At the end of our line, obviously we have our fishing hook. So I wanna show you a couple different types of hooks here. So obviously this is not the hook that you're gonna need for a small sunfish, but to give you a point of reference, we have the point of our hook, and then this is the eye of the hook where we tie our fishing line to. So this is one style of hook, what we call a J hook for obvious reasons. And then we also have, this is also a large version, this is called a circle hook. And you can see the point circles around here. Now this is good because what this helps to do is make sure that the fish is hooked only in the corner, the lip of its mouth. If a fish is really hungry and he swallows the whole hook, this will actually not get stuck in its throat, which could potentially kill the fish or harm it like a J hook would. So I strongly recommend that you try to find circle hooks. And to give you some comparison here, we have several size circle hooks. And again, each hook is designed for its own application. So if you can get that there on camera. So you can see they have that circle style, and in various sizes, they go from large to small. And for our sunfish, we're gonna want a hook that's about this size. This is a J hook here, but they're about this size. If you can find them as circle hooks, fantastic. A little bit smaller than this would even be okay as well. Okay. So there's our hook. And then I highly recommend that you get started with a bobber. It's very easy. It's something for the kids to focus on, and when the fish takes that and pulls this bobber underneath the water, they're gonna get very excited. So this is gonna go up the line a little ways from our hook. So our line would stretch between our bobber and our hook here. And this clips right onto your fishing line. And what this does, we have our hook with our bait, and we'll talk about that in a moment. This is gonna hang down into and under the water where the fish are hanging out. And this bobber is made of foam, and this will float on the surface. And you see it's nice, bright orange, so you can see that. And I like these style bobbers too. They have a little bit of a lead weight here on the bottom. Makes it a little bit easier for them to cast. And that will float there in water. When the fish comes along and nibbles on your worm, that'll pull that bobber in the water, and that's your indication that you've got a fish on and it's time to start reeling. And we do have several styles. That's just your regular ball style there. And then we also have what you might call a stick style bobber. And these are just in two different colors. The color is a personal preference if you like, but just something that's highly visible so you can see it floating around out there in the water. Okay. Again, these clip right onto your line, very easy. So again, you can find these items very easily at your local bait and tackle shop or at your big box store of your preference. And again, some of the pre-assembled kits will have some tackle in there for you to get started with. But again, very basic setup. Don't need anything fancy to get out there and give it a shot. Now, as far as bait goes, very easy, old classic is just good old-fashioned worms. I prefer red wigglers. I seem to have better luck versus the night crawlers. As you might find, the red wigglers are a little bit smaller, but they're very lively. They get down there and they move, and the fish just can't help themselves. They eat those up. So you can find those red wigglers at your bait and tackle shop. They're also carried at most of the big box stores. And I really actually like getting them from the local pet stores and fish stores. They're usually quite fresh and lively there. So again, this is Sharp Tooth Outfitters. This is your Basics of Fishing, Part 2. And I'm Mike Gemstone. Check us out, sharptoothoutfitters.com. Check out our Facebook page. When you drop by, make sure you click that thumbs up, give us a like, leave your comments and questions, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see all of our cool future content. Thanks so much for joining us. Good shooting.